We're live inside what used to be known as cannabis culture here at church near Wellesley. And since the marijuana dispensary was raided last week, it's now reopened under a brand new name and brand new management under the Village Cannabis Dispensary. But it is still extremely busy. Take a look behind me here. The lineup has been constant since we got here. They're saying they're getting on average 1,300 customers a day since those raids. And even though they have been deemed an illegal business, and the owner was arrested last week, Marc Emery says that he has paid HST to the government like any other business, and he claims that the tax man has accepted every penny of it.
There's $40,000 that day. There's $44,000 that day. $18,000 the day before.
In the last 4 months of 2016, the so-called Prince of Pot claims he's paid $434,000 in HST to the Canada Revenue Agency. That large amount coming from just one store, the Cannabis Culture Dispensary on Church Street. It opened last September and was raided by Toronto police last week.
It shows the hypocrisy that they'll take the proceeds of crime, but they'll persecute anybody else if you spend the money on anything else but the government.
The Emerys say receipts and money orders showing these recent payments to CRA were taken during last week's raids.
One of the few things that the police left in their raid was my deposit books, and in 7 days from December 31st to January 6th, we paid $210,000 to Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, who then we transferred it to the government that night.
We pay all our taxes, payroll taxes, everything that's expected of any legitimate business, because we're trying to be above board.
The response from the CRA may be surprising. Although they wouldn't comment on specifics due to privacy reasons, the Revenue Agency tells City News all income, legal and illegal, is taxable and is to be reported annually. Taxpayers suspected of deriving income from illegal activities are risk assessed, and appropriate compliance actions are taken by the Canada Revenue Agency. Since the harmonized sales tax benefits both the federal government and the province, we asked Ontario's finance minister about marijuana money being added to government coffers.
The federal government is the one that's collecting, the taxes and the services. So if it's obvious that there's some illegality in terms of distribution, that has to be curbed.
Emery says his dispensaries weren't the only ones who paid the federal government, but the raids may deter others from paying up in the future.
Are they not now my partners in this? That was proceeds of crime because the owners were charged proceeds of crime. How can the government not be punished for accepting proceeds of crime? Are they not a willing participant in this industry now?
Now, Emery says that before the raids, this former cannabis culture was set to pay the government an additional $500,000 in HST. That would be a total of $1 million in just 7 months.